First off, what does it even mean to flip a class or flip a section of a class?
You want to take that one, Wendy? I'll do the next one.
Sure. So flipping a class means just flipping what typically students did in class versus what they did at home. That's when we started going to conferences and hearing about this idea of flipping, that's how it was described. So instead of sitting in class and hearing the lecture, students would get that preliminary, that basic teaching at home. And then when they came to class, they would get the more in-depth time with the support of their classmates and their teacher. Jessica, do you want to add?
No, I mean, I can talk about, do you want me to talk about, Kathleen, how we took that traditional model and kind of put it into...
Yeah, because I mean, I've heard of, and I've even done this with some of my classes before, but you guys have a different approach to it and been very effective. So I want to know, like, what do you guys do that's different than the traditional approach to flipping?
So basically like a flipped class, like Wendy was saying, students would watch your lecture at home. So the passive part of learning, where it's really easy for them to just kind of pause you, rewind you if they need it at a slower pace, or they need you to repeat something. And then, so that passive part is at home, and then in class is where all of the active learning takes place. So it's where they're actually being active. So not only like a traditional flip, they would work on what used to be homework in class now with the teacher and peers. But on top of that, what we've done, so we've taken that kind of flipped model and we like to say enhanced it. And that's why we call it the flipped plus model. So for those videos that they're watching at home, we, instead of having a full like 1 or 2 hour lecture video, we've taken that and we've chunked it into really small videos. So they're all done by objective level. And then after each objective, there are very low level questions that students will answer over them just to make sure that they were engaged. Additionally, there's a video worksheet that goes along with the videos. It's just like a guided notes worksheet that they fill in as they're watching the videos. So that kind of helps in 2 ways. 1, it helps keep them engaged when they're watching the video. And 2, it makes them actually watch the entire video. So instead of just checking the box and turning it on. And we actually have that as part of the grade. So students will do that before class, and then they come to class and we will go around and kind of check off their worksheet to make sure they actually did what they were supposed to do. And then what we do is, so our classes are twice a week for 2.5 hours. So we do 5 hours a week in person. Or remote. And if you're one of those instructors that maybe you meet 4 times a week, you can still easily do it the way we're doing it. You'll just split it up a little bit. But so what we do is for that first hour, we'll do some type of fun, interactive activity that students do in teams to work through the concepts. So we'll do like a Desmos activity builder. We have math mazes that we have all around the rooms that they need to go through. We have Kahoots. And so it motivates them to have their work done before they come to class and have done that learning assignment. But it also really builds this inclusive community because they work in pairs. They don't want to show it kind of has that peer pressure element where you don't want to show up to class and you're that one partner who didn't do what you were supposed to do. So they work in pairs and they see that, hey, I'm struggling on this. Oh, but I understand this. Here, let me help you with this. And oh, I'm struggling on this, but I get it. So it really helps them see that there's value in working together and that everyone can bring something to the community. Yeah. Also in those activities, we try to have flesh out the common misconceptions. So for example, with rational function, students usually always cancel things out that shouldn't be canceled out. And so we'll intentionally put some of those questions in that gamification activity that we're doing. So that way it's not as scary when they get it wrong. It's like, oh, well, I got it wrong and my teammate did too. So let's work together instead of just, okay, let's just move on. Okay, let's figure out where we missed this. And Wendy or I, or whoever is the teacher, is able to really get in and work with the students at that point on that misconception and get those all fleshed out before they work on individually the homework. So that first hour is an activity. And then that second hour is when they work individually on homework, or what used to be homework. So practice problems is what we call it. And they'll work independently, but we're walking around the entire time and they have their peers next to them that they can always talk to as well.